Tonight at 10, as the summer fishing season begins, the DNR says there are a few things anglers should be aware of, including contaminants in our waters. Plus, how state lawmakers are working to help hold sex traffickers accountable and ensure minors who come forward aren't held criminally liable. And what investigators have discovered about a plane that crashed after entering restricted airspace Sunday in Washington, scrambling fighter jets. It's all ahead tonight on News 3 Now at 10. This past weekend marked a free fishing weekend through the DNR, where Wisconsin residents could try out the sport for free without needing a license. First-time anglers also need to be aware of PFAS contaminants in Madison lakes. Will Keneally shares what you need to know ahead of the summer fishing season. Will?
Eric, fishing in Wisconsin is a big economic driver, with funds from fishing licenses going toward conservation efforts in the state. DNR officials hope that a low barrier of entry, a free weekend for instance, can help people try out the sport for themselves.
So it's really important to keep the enthusiasm going here in Wisconsin for fishing.
Which is why the Wisconsin DNR has been holding a free fishing weekend since the 1980s. In a handful of locations, that includes helping match potential anglers with loaner fishing gear to help them try it out for the first time.
We don't really have a little clicker going for every place, but I know I saw a lot of people out this weekend. A lot of people were out fishing.
For the DNR, that includes state parks, but we see many people fishing in lakes around Madison, too. If you're new to the fishing scene, just be aware of PFAS in the water.
Yeah, that's a sad truth that our lakes are not what we would like them to be anymore.
Statewide, the DNR recommends up to 1 serving per week for panfish and others like bass and catfish. Women under 50 and children should limit that to once per month for bass, walleye, and catfish, among others. In the Madison chain of lakes, the DNR has a PFAS advisory out for fish coming from Lakes Monona, Kegonsa, and Wabeesa. Some lower levels were found in Mendota and Wingra.
The DNR, when they report bad eating habits from the fish habitats out here, we just listen to them, and when it's good to eat them and when it's not.
For the DNR's Teresa Stabo, fish are still a healthy part of our diets. She just wants people to be careful.
There's nothing better than just pulling in a fish from your neighborhood lake and cooking it up that day.
Now you can find a full list of DNR advisories on their website under the PFAS Topics tab.
Will, thank you. State lawmakers continue to address PFAS in the Wisconsin water system. The Joint Finance Committee has set aside $125 million to combat PFAS. That's $18 million more than what the governor proposed. Today, the Senate Committee on Natural Resources and Energy held a hearing on a bill that would require the DNR to create a municipal PFAS grant program providing money for PFAS testing. The bill would also require the DNR to provide grants to people who own property with PFAS contamination who are not responsible for that contamination.
It seems like folks are interested in proposing amendments, and that you're certainly interested in hearing those proposals for them.
The bill requires the DNR and the UW System Board of Regents to enter into an agreement to ensure the State Laboratory of Hygiene reduces the cost of conducting testing for PFAS. We go to the weather patio now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti, and a look at our first warn forecast. Gary?
Yeah, still a little wildfire smoke out there. That should start to dissipate overnight, but we'll watch for the potential for some rain to develop. So far, there's not been much out there. The time lapse from the WISC-TV Skycam showed some clouds this morning, and then notice how the skies cleared out, but that wildfire smoke came back in again during the afternoon and is continuing tonight, although that should start to die down a little bit overnight, but an air quality advisory remains in effect until midnight for particulate matter in the air from the wildfire smoke from the Canadian wildfires. Doppler track right now pretty quiet. There have been a couple of showers and thunderstorms up in the northern part of the state, but they haven't been able to move southward too much. 6-hour future track radar tries to develop some showers and storms and then starts bringing them southward. So we'll have to see if that actually happens. High temperatures today back into the mid to upper 80s. Madison 86, 89 in Boscobel, 87 in Lone Rock, and 88 at Baraboo Dells Airport. Milwaukee was 79 closer to Lake Michigan. Right now temperatures are mainly in the upper 60s to the lower 70s through most of southern Wisconsin. Here in Dane County, it's 67 degrees in Verona, 68 in Madison, and 66 in Middleton. Look for skies to be mostly cloudy overnight. Could be a shower or thunderstorm in a few spots. Low temperature dropping to 60 degrees. Later on, I'll take a look at a forecast that unfortunately doesn't include a lot of rain, but at least gives us some pretty nice weather conditions.
Gary, thank you. A Baraboo man is now facing homicide charges. This is in connection to that death of a man at a Richland County campground last month. 61-year-old David Harp was arrested after police found 54-year-old Corby Neef dead from multiple gunshot wounds at the Bunker Hill campground near Cazenovia. Harp was one of 2 people of interest detained at the scene. The other was released without being charged. Now to Black Earth, where an office building is considered a total loss after a fire. It happened just before 1 this afternoon in the 4900 block of Icefelt Road. No injuries were reported, but Dane County deputies say estimated damages are between $500,000 and $700,000. A home and barn on the property were not damaged. Still unclear what caused that fire. Verona police are investigating after the body of a Madison woman was found in a retention pond. Crews were called to the 100 block of Cross Country Road near Enterprise Drive just before 8:30 this morning. Police say the woman was alone, and at the moment it is unclear how she died, but they also say her death is an isolated incident and there's no threat to the public. Officers have not yet released the victim's name. New at 10, court records show a Madison police officer was cited and arrested early last month after another officer found him with a loaded gun, drinking and driving. Records filed in Dodge County show 35-year-old Dennis Bertoli crashed his car along Highway 19 in the early morning hours of May 9th. In a criminal complaint, Bertoli told a responding deputy he had crashed 2 hours before they arrived and had a loaded gun in the car. Bertoli has since been charged with operating a firearm while intoxicated and was cited for first offense OWI. A spokesperson also confirms Bertoli resigned from the department, Madison PD, back on May 12th. In a statement, Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes commented on it, saying, quote, "I acknowledge these situations are unacceptable and all officers are required to obey the law on and off duty. I acknowledge that more needs to be done, and I will be looking into other support initiatives for our department." A bill making its way through the state legislature seeks to help fight sex trafficking in Wisconsin. The proposal would ensure minors who come forward are not held criminally liable for prostitution. Now, people under 18 in Wisconsin can be and actually have been prosecuted for prostitution, but state law also says they cannot consent. That's why advocates say the current law simply doesn't add up. The goal is to encourage young victims to come forward, report their traffickers, abusers who state legislators say often use the threat of arrest to manipulate victims into silence.
Their trafficker will tell them, you can't talk about this to law enforcement because you'll get in big trouble, and so will I. And I'm the only person who really cares about you, right? And so when we are able to arrest children, it kind of feeds that misinformation.
Similar legislation is currently in effect in 27 other states. Wisconsin lawmakers say they looked to the success of places like Minnesota, which has increased the number of traffickers convicted since establishing safe harbor laws as a motivator. Driving people in a mental health crisis to hospitals, it takes up a lot of law enforcement time and resources. And to cut down on 200 hours of extra police work, the Madison Police Department is hiring Ready Transit to help drive patients to Winnebago Mental Health. This will allow more officers to respond to other 911 calls. MPD says emergency detention transportation cases typically take 2 officers out of the mix. Officers then spend hours waiting on a patient's placement, then several more hours driving if that placement is halfway across the state. This plan will not only benefit the officers, but also be a better option for mental health help during that transport.
And I think it's giving a better transportation experience, if you can call it that, for the individual in crisis. They're not in the back of a squad car handcuffed for an additional 2 hours plus up to Winnebago.
The company was selected after a competitive proposal process and after approval in the legislature to even allow this kind of program back in 2020. The pilot program has already begun. It's planned to run through the summer. House Oversight Chairman James Comer plans to move forward with efforts to hold the director of the FBI in contempt. Comer and the top Democrat on the committee received a briefing from senior FBI officials and reviewed the document known as an FD 1023 in a secure room at the Capitol. According to Republicans, the document includes an unverified allegation that Joe Biden, while vice president, was involved in a bribery scheme involving a foreign national. The FBI has stressed the forms contain unverified claims provided by confidential human sources. The White House has denied the allegation and dismissed the GOP probe as a political stunt. Meanwhile, prosecutors are raising questions about a flood at Mar-a-Lago in connection to the classified documents investigation surrounding former President Donald Trump. Sources say an employee at the property drained the resort's swimming pool, triggering the flood in a room where computer servers containing surveillance video logs were kept. Prosecutors want to know if it was a deliberate action Before the flood, prosecutors obtained surveillance footage to track how White House records were moved around the resort. The FAA says it will take days to gather and sort highly fragmented wreckage in a mountainous area of Virginia after a small plane crashed, killing 3 passengers and the pilot. The crash happened after military fighter jets scrambled to intercept the plane after it had entered restricted airspace around our nation's capital. Natalie Brand has more.
Federal investigators are working to determine what caused a small plane to crash in a wooded area in rural Virginia, killing all 4 people on board.
We spent all day today looking at the wreckage. It is no longer distinguishable as an aircraft.
The plane took off in Tennessee Sunday afternoon, flying to Long Island, New York at 34,000 feet. For some reason, it made a U-turn towards D.C., breaching restricted airspace. That prompted 6 F-16 fighter jets to scramble.
It's an organized, operational way of policing airspace, particularly sensitive airspace over the United States in the wake of 9/11.
Officials say air traffic controllers and other federal authorities made repeated attempts to establish contact.
National Guard fighter on guard. If you hear this transmission, contact us on 121.5.
CBS News has learned one of the F-16 pilots saw the Cessna pilot slumped over and unresponsive.
Basically, everything is on the table until we slowly and methodically remove different components and elements that'll be relevant.
During the incident, the fighter jet's supersonic speed caused a sonic boom that startled residents in D.C., Northern Virginia, and Southern Maryland. CBS News has learned the victims killed in the crash include 49-year-old Adina Azarian, her 2-year-old daughter, their nanny, and the pilot. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Investigators plan to examine numerous factors, including the pilot's qualifications, the plane's flight path and maintenance records, as well as weather conditions. Officials say it could take up to 2 years to issue a final report about exactly what happened here and why. Now to some topics constantly on the minds of communities across the U.S., gun violence and school safety. Teachers are weighing in on a nationwide debate. Should educators be armed in our schools? A Rand Corporation survey finds 1 in 5 teachers say they would be interested in carrying a gun to school. 20% believe teachers carrying a gun would make schools safer, but 54% believe armed teachers would make schools less safe. Social experts say teachers today bear a great burden.
Not only are they teaching our children, they are having to be mental health professionals in a way, dealing with high emotions, dealing with kids in distress. And then in the back of their mind, they always have the thought of what if someone does come in this school.
The survey also shows teachers' top safety concern is actually bullying, with social media playing a big role or making situations worse. They also say it's important to have a system of threat reporting and intervention. Next at 10, Gary has our latest complete forecast, plus how a massive wildfire in Canada is impacting the air quality here in the U.S. It's just ahead. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 now at 10. Winner of the Best Evening Newscast by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
This may look like an action-adventure movie, but it's a Nissan sales event ad.
Get 0% financing for 36 months on select Rogue trims.
These epic offers won't last forever.
At Lawton Cates, being prepared and confronting every aspect of your injury case with honesty, integrity, and innovative solutions has earned us a reputation for excellence in representing the injured. Because at Lawton Cates, your life counts.
Come see Tootsie, the Tony Award-winning comedy musical that tells the story of Michael Dorsey, a desperate, out-of-work actor who's got a plan to change his life. But what he really needs to get is a clue.
Get your tickets today at overture.org.
Save on your next painting project after 11% off everything at Menards. DuraClean exterior paint will keep your home looking beautiful by providing a weather-resistant coating with crack and fade resistance. 1 gallon is just $29.98 after rebate. Choose Dutch Boy Max Bond Plus exterior paint for exceptional adhesion in 1 coat coverage. It's a paint and primer in 1 that resists dirt, mildew, and repels rain 90 minutes after application. Get 1 gallon for $44.99 after 11% rebate at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Water is one of nature's most beautiful and life-sustaining resources. At no fault of their own, many Wisconsin utility customers are facing a shutoff to their water service. This leaves them without the one life-giving resource we all take for granted. And those hardest hit are on fixed incomes, juggling multiple temporary jobs, or those who lost full-time jobs in sectors hardest hit by the pandemic. If someone you care about needs a hand up, your local Wisconsin energy providers are working together to keep you safely in your home and your water, heat, and power on. If you are in danger of losing your water service, call 833-H2O-WISC, 833-426-9472. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
This may look like an action-adventure movie, but it's a Nissan sales event ad.
Get 0% financing for 36 months on select Rogue trims.
These epic offers won't last forever.
On the Jennifer Hudson Show, I go way back with Yvette Nicole Brown. My part was cut in Dreamgirls. So you almost took my role. Can't nobody take no role from you. Are you crazy? Plus, I'm hanging with Ron Funches.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
As food, rent, and gas prices continue to climb, people who could afford those necessities before are now making cuts to their budgets. A clear sign of how bad inflation has been is the rise in families relying on food pantries. Extended Hands Pantry on Madison's west side has seen a 136% increase in families visiting once a month compared to last year. They say the end of pandemic-era assistance programs and the cost of goods rising is what's causing that demand.
I don't know if it's quite as pronounced with the clientele we have coming to our food pantry, but all the COVID, the pandemic assistances, have recently ended. And that certainly is another driving force.
Sazurka says in her 2 decades in food pantries, she has never seen a spike in demand like they're seeing now. McFarland food pantry organizers also say they've seen the number of families served per week nearly double. Data from Feeding America shows 1 in 8 Wisconsinites are now food insecure. Wildfires in Canada are triggering air quality alerts across the U.S., including right here in Wisconsin. You can see the smoke and haze lingering in parts of our area and Midwest, as well as the Northeast all week. Jen Sullivan now with the latest.
Historic wildfires raging through parts of Canada. More than 26,000 people have been forced to evacuate their homes.
People's homes are literally burning down. Their lives are being turned upside down.
So far this year, 8 million acres have burned. The flames causing giant plumes of smoke to tower over the region.
This is incredibly difficult and heartbreaking.
But the effects of the fires aren't just being felt in Canada. The smoke triggering air quality warnings in the U.S., impacting millions of Americans from the Midwest to the Northeast. The National Weather Service issuing a code orange for Tuesday for parts of the Northeast, including New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania, meaning the air quality will be harmful to sensitive groups like the elderly and young children, those groups being urged to stay indoors. Meanwhile, in Canada, at least 200 structures have been damaged. Firefighters are doing their best to contain it.
We're going to get through this together.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Well, sure would help to clear out the air with a burst of rain or two. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti now sizing up our chances. He's got his complete first warn forecast.
Well, I think what's going to help more than anything else, because we're not going to get that burst of rain, is probably just a shift in the wind direction a little bit, and that will start to dissipate some of that smoke. But air quality advisories remain in effect until midnight tonight for eastern Minnesota, all of Wisconsin, and northeastern Illinois for that wildfire smoke. 3 things you need to know, though. The wildfire smoke should start to dissipate overnight. There will be chances for showers and thunderstorms overnight into the day tomorrow, but not high chances. Not everybody will see rain, and then we're back to dry weather from Wednesday through Friday with maybe another chance of thunderstorms around Saturday, but at least the temperatures will be pleasant. High-resolution radar, not seeing any rain across southern Wisconsin. We'll widen out the view. There were a couple of showers, isolated thunderstorms up in northern Wisconsin, northeastern Minnesota. Those have settled down, but we may start to see an uptick in the activity later on. In fact, if we take a look at future track radar, while things are quiet right now, there's a little bit of instability aloft, and as that works its way southward, watch as some showers and thunderstorms start to develop perhaps late tonight, early tomorrow morning. So that would be good news, at least for some of us. But you can see there are a lot of areas around that just don't see any rain. And by morning, those head on to, by mid-afternoon, those are down to the south. The next batch fires up farther to the west into Iowa and Minnesota and heads more south than east. So unfortunately, we're not seeing very high chances for rain. And then on Wednesday, the winds shift around to the northeast, and we're looking at pretty much dry weather for the next several days after that. So this first batch of showers and thunderstorms really not amounting to very much unless you happen to get caught under one of these heavier thunderstorms. You could see ½ to an inch or more of rain in a small area, and areas nearby, you go 10, 20 miles away, you might not see any rain at all. Future track precipitation beginning on Friday shows the next batch coming through. So this is just kind of totaling it up over the next 10 days. And you can see through the weekend, you know, a little additional rainfall here, perhaps a little bit more up toward La Crosse and central Wisconsin. And then as we head toward the end or the middle and latter parts of next week, Wednesday and Thursday, there'll be a little more humidity and some shower and thunderstorm chances that could bring a little more widespread welcome rains in the neighborhood of about ½ to an inch of rain. But again, it's going to be spotty. Some areas could pick up 2 inches, other areas might see less than ¼ inch of rain. High temperatures today, pretty warm. Milwaukee at 79, but Madison hit 86, La Crosse 88. Temperatures were in the upper 80s to around 90 through much of our part of the Midwest. And while temperatures won't be quite as warm the next couple of days, will still be above normal. Air quality advisory in effect until midnight for all of southern Wisconsin for the wildfire smoke. For tomorrow, look for a high temperature of 77 degrees. It'll be cooler, and there will be a few scattered showers or a thunderstorm chance during the day. I think the best chances will be in the morning. Planning your day across Dane County, 77 for the high in Mount Vernon, 77 in DeForest, 76 in Marshall, and again, a shower or thunderstorm chance in a few spots. For southern Wisconsin, 77 in Janesville, 79 in Lone Rock, and La Crosse, a lesser chance for rain, and they'll be up to 81 degrees. Planning your day, look for the clouds to move in. Here come the showers and thunderstorms early tomorrow morning, but very limited in coverage. Maybe a little bit more coverage as we head towards 6 a.m., but notice by 9 a.m. they start drifting to the south, and by noon they're pretty much out of the picture. The next batch will develop farther to the west, maybe Grant and Crawford counties. The better chances will be in Iowa, so we're not looking at widespread rain, but at least a few people will get some heavy downpours with maybe ½ to an inch of rain. Other areas may miss out on the rain altogether. First warned 7 to 10 day forecast. Comfortable weather, highs in the 70s Wednesday and Thursday, low 80s on Friday. Another chance for thunderstorms Friday night into Saturday, maybe a little better chance on Saturday, and then the chances for showers and thunderstorms toward the end of next week, but high temperatures will also be in the middle 80s.
Gary, thank you. A 13-year-old from California attempting to become the youngest golfer to qualify for the U.S. Open. The 7th grader, Jaden Soong, teed off for his last qualifying match at Hillcrest Country Club this morning, posted to Twitter saying he is excited for the chance to tee it up with the greatest players on the planet and is thankful for this opportunity. The 123rd United States Open Championship will be held at Los Angeles Country Club June 15th through the 18th. More sports are next.
Coming up, one of the greatest Badgers to ever touch the ice got a big payday today. Find out who next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Join us at the Madison Parade of Homes, exclusively sponsored by Nuns. Visit and get inspired for your 2023 building and remodeling projects. Go to MadisonParadeofHomes.com and purchase your tickets today.
As a veteran of our country's armed services, you have already made the ultimate sacrifice. Why should you have to continue to do that? Through no fault of your own, you may be experiencing hardships, such as the inability to pay rent, utilities, or receive other life-sustaining services. And once again, you're called upon by your family to serve and protect. We want you to know we are here to support you. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin, with benefit approvals being issued to veterans in just days, not months. It's not easy to ask for a hand up, but we are clear in our mission. No Wisconsin veteran should ever have to face homelessness or lose heat, power, or water again. 833-WISC-VRAP. That's 833-947-8727.
I had a lot of bad days with gout, but that one took the wedding cake. Even with medicine, my uric acid was still too high to stop painful gout buildup. Then a gout specialist told me about Cristexa.
Cristexa is a prescription medicine for adults with gout whose symptoms are not controlled by other gout medicines.
I learned Cristexa quickly starts working to break down gout buildup.
Krystexxa is an infused medicine. Serious life-threatening allergic reactions can occur while taking Krystexxa. Tell your doctor right away if you have symptoms such as shortness of breath, trouble breathing, dizziness, itching, or swelling of the throat or tongue. Krystexxa is not recommended if you have high levels of uric acid without a history of gout. Do not take Krystexxa if you have a rare disorder called G6PD deficiency or favism. Before receiving Krystexxa, tell your doctor if you have a history of heart problems and all the medicines you take. Krystexxa may cause gout flare-ups, allergic reactions, nausea, bruising, sore throat, constipation, chest pain, and vomiting.
I received Krystexxa for about 6 months. Now I'm in control, not gout.
Find a doctor who specializes in gout at goutdocnow.com.
Happy Take and Bake Tuesday!
Every Tuesday at Papa Murphy's, you can get any large pizza for just $10.99, which makes Tuesday the best day to bring home all your favorites.
We might have too many favorites.
Do you guys have a favorite child? I have a favorite son. It's me, right?
At Papa Murphy's, we make great pizza, so you can make the pizza great. Order now at papamurphys.com.
Join us at the Madison Parade of Homes, exclusively sponsored by Nuns. Visit and get inspired for your 2023 building and remodeling projects. Go to MadisonParadeOfHomes.com and purchase your tickets today.
Between Melvin Gordon, Ron Dane, and Jonathan Taylor, the Badgers have produced some elite running backs over the years. But one guy that sometimes gets forgotten is Montee Ball. That changed today when number 28 found out that his name is on the ballot for the 2024 College Football Hall of Fame class. Ball tied an NCAA record for touchdowns in a season in 2011 with the Badgers, and the Heisman nominee is UW's single season and career leader in rushing touchdowns. But in the Luke Fickell era, there's an emphasis on tough physical defense. That landed Bucky a 3-star defensive end from Tennessee today. Hank Weber, which kicks off a pretty busy season for the Badgers. 17 recruits visited UW last week alone. Cole Caulfield is living every Wisconsin kid that grew up playing pond hockey's dream. As a Badger, he led Wisconsin to a Big Ten regular season championship and was named the best player in the country. And now, after 2 seasons in the NHL where he scored 53 goals, he's getting a huge payday. The Canadiens announced that they've signed the Wisconsin native to an 8-year contract extension that will pay him $7.85 million per year. And for Caulfield, it was an easy decision to commit to Montreal long term.
You know, the way this organization's going, the plan that's intact, all that stuff, it just it makes a lot of sense. And I love being there. It's the second home, first home, whatever you want to call it for me. So I'm excited to be here long term. I think it puts my family in a good place.
To the Packers, Green Bay announced the date for the 22nd Family Fun Night, which will be slated for August 5th at Lambeau Field. The event will serve as the introduction to the 2023 season and the Jordan Love era, while fans will be able to watch the Pack in an open practice with a game day feel. Julio Teheran on the hill for the Brewers as they search for the 4-game sweep. Bottom 3 with the bases empty. No doubt about this one. Stuart Fairchild lifts one into the empty seats. Believe it or not, first game of this series set an attendance record for Great American Ballpark. Cincy up 1-0. Then in the 4th, Tyler Stevenson with an oppo taco. Teheran was masterful outside of those 2 pitches that ended up in the cheap seats. Reds avoid the sweep as the Brewers fall 2-0 the final. The Bucs today made official what we've known for a couple of weeks, formally announcing former Toronto Raptors assistant Adrian Griffin as their new head coach. The defensive-minded leader is a first-time head coach and becomes the Bucs' 17th head coach in franchise history. We'll be right back.
We're busy. I get it. So Stanton Optical works with your schedule. Buy online, pick up in store same day, and get a free fitting. I mean, look at my to-do list. Same-day eye exam, same-day glasses. 2 pairs plus eye exam for only $79.
The local water experts at Culligan can take care of everything but the kitchen sink. Actually, we do that too. Culligan, here for every water worry.
Looking to bring life to your Wisconsin Dells getaway? Bring your family, bring your friends, bring an extra suit, and bring on the water parks. It's time to bring out your best. Your best driving, your best sliding. Hey, your best friend just passed you up. Ready to play? Bring your A game. Ready to eat? Bring your appetite. Ready to bring it to the next level? Let's bring it all together. Summer in Wisconsin Dells. Bring it on. Go to WISC-TV.com and start planning your trip to the water park capital of the world today.
Stanley Steamer loves Madison, Wisconsin. I'm Paul Ashik, local owner of Stanley Steamer here in Madison. We've been proudly cleaning your homes and businesses for over 30 years and will continue to keep your carpet, upholstery, area rugs, hard floors, and air ducts clean for many more. We strive to provide the best quality in both the services we provide and the equipment we use. That's why you've trusted us to keep Madison and southwestern Wisconsin homes cleaner, healthier, and more beautiful place to live. Call and book a cleaning today.
Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
At Foster Funeral and Cremation Services, we honor legacies. Let us take care of the arrangement so you can focus on saying goodbye. Veteran-owned and operated. Experience exceptional care and affordable service with Foster Funeral and Cremation Services.
Have you ever been challenged, been tried, made a pact with your own limits? Have you been here, there, places no one should go? If you have, then you know that whatever you're capable of, so are we. No wonder Ford SUVs lead in brand loyalty. Now get a new Ford Edge with 0% APR financing for 36 months, only at your Wisconsin and UP Ford dealers.
To everyone who appreciates a handcrafted meal, are you ready for a taste of Wisconsin?
Butterburger's cooked fresh, just the way you like.
The way you love.
Definitely love. And our thick and creamy frozen custard, we make it for you all throughout the day.
All day.
All day, every day. Put it in the extra work and not cutting corners. Takes a little longer.
But it's how we've always done it at Culver's. Because making your meal with care shows how much we care.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Welcome to Too Good to Guess. Can you guess how much 2 pairs of progressives, a free eye exam, and anti-glare lens upgrade will cost at Stanton Optical? Only $135? Wow, a deal so good, every customer wins. Book your eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
Take a whiff of the smell of success, Thursday at 6.
And Gary's back with the final check of the forecast. We're playing some music in the break there. Came back a little earlier than planned.
Well, okay, I'll just deal with the smoke like everybody else has
That's right,
to.
it is out there.
It's kind of hazy out there. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam. Air quality advisory in effect until midnight tonight for particulate matter and wildfire smoke. Nothing on radar, but we could see a shower or thunderstorm later tonight.
Have a good night, folks. We're going to keep playing some music here.